independently of both the political branches and of my own preferences. I love the Constitution and the democratic republic that it establishes, and I will devote myself to preserving it.
Justice Clarence Thomas, the longest-serving member of the current court, delivered the constitutional oath of office on Monday night. Tuesday, Chief Justice John Roberts will complete the process by delivering the judicial oath. ACB starts work Tuesday. USA Radio News.
Okay, some good news during a challenging time for everybody, and this could really help. You may know hundreds of thousands of people have already made the switch to MediShare, which is the affordable alternative to health insurance. And with so many people looking at how they pay for healthcare right now, seeing premiums going up or the cost of COBRA plans, MediShare has a special offer and a lot of people are taking advantage of it. Simply apply by October 30th and they will waive your new member fee. That's $170 savings. And of course, that's just a start. The typical family saves $500 a month after making the switch. MediShare is a Christian community that has shared over $4 billion in medical bills, and it's worked beautifully for decades. I'll give you the number here in a second, and if you call, you can get a price within 2 minutes. Just tell them the promo code SHARE to get your additional savings. Here it is. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. USDA has announced the appointment of 6 members and 7 alternates to serve on the National Peanut Board. The appointees will serve 3-year terms from January 1, 2021 to December 31, 2023. The members from Alabama will include Tom Cochran of Eufaula. He is a reappointed member. Thomas Adams of Newville is the reappointed alternate from Alabama. William Carte of Live Oak is the reappointed member from Florida. Nick Marshall of Baker is the new Florida alternate. In 1966, Congress authorized the development of industry-wide funded research and promotion boards to provide a framework for agricultural industries to pool their resources and combine efforts to develop new markets, strengthen their existing markets, and conduct important research and promotion. Agriculture Marketing Service provides oversight of 21 boards from the Department of Agriculture, paid for by industry assessments, which helps ensure fiscal accountability and program integrity. But overall, congratulations to these new members who will be serving on the National Peanut Board.
You're going to need me.
You're going to need us.
All of us.
You're going to need our technical skills,
our math, our engineering skills.
You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food.
You're going to need our organizational skills, our problem-solving skills.
You're going to need our determination, our honesty, our compassion.
You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring.
And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
Today, 4-H is growing the next generation of leaders. Support us at 4h.org.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Today will be humid with clouds and sunshine and a high of 88 to 90. Partly cloudy, very warm and humid tonight, low 74 to 76. Warm and humid tomorrow with a mix of clouds and sunshine. Expect showers by tomorrow afternoon, high 87 to 89. Then Thursday will be warm and humid with a mix of clouds and sunshine and a high of 87 to 91. Thunderstorm around Friday morning. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
Just Shipped is expanding to its first retail location at the new Boulevard Market located on the corner of Bonnie Heath and 36th Avenue. Just Shipped will still offer the same all-inclusive services of packing and shipping your items. Don't want to get out of your car? You don't have to, because Just Shipped is offering curbside service. That's right, curbside service starting Saturday, November 7th. Go to justshipped.net for more information. Take the guesswork out of shipping with Just Shipped.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmitz, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Good Tuesday morning. Welcome to Ocala Talks. I am Tom Schmitz, coming to you from the palatial studios of WOCA Radio, just outside the food court entrance to the Paddock Mall in the Brick City, beautiful Ocala, Florida. On the phone lines with us, as he is every morning to start the show, brought to you by the good folks at Palm Gardens and Penn Flooring. For his blood bank report, it's Galen Unal. Galen's probably on 75, headed into Gainesville or something like that. Are you on the interstate today, Galen, or are you in Ocala?
No. I'm in Ocala today. I got an appointment here. But, hey, good morning, Tom. It's good to hear from you.
Good morning. So yesterday, tough day for Marion County.
Yes.
I saw a lot of important people last night. I went to a opening of a hotel. I'll let you figure out what hotel opening I went to. I went to an opening of a hotel, and a lot of the people there, we had a heartfelt moment from the sheriff as he talked about his good friend Greg Graham. Just been a tough 36 hours, and, people are wanting answers, Galen, and the actuality of the situation is the NTSB doesn't – they don't give instant answers. They give final answers. They give well thought out and well investigated answers. They don't give you quick, we got a 24-hour news cycle answer, but that's good, right?
Yeah, I mean, what they'll get, if you've ever seen an NTSB report, it could be 1,000, it could be 1,500 pages, and it'll be well thought out. It'll be it won't be necessarily a very clear explanation, because what I've learned from Dan over the years is it's very rarely one thing. It's usually a combination of factors, and I'm sure they'll get into that. And it'll just take some time, and let's let the people do their job.
That's
it's not, and I had this conversation with somebody yesterday. It's not going to change the outcome.
No.
Right. Let's remember this, and knowing Greg the way I would, he would want us to wait for that outcome to be right.
Yeah, and it won't, that's a very good point. No matter what the NTSB finds, it's not going to change the outcome of the accident.
That's correct.
It's just not. So let's talk about a big game tonight coming up, Game 6 of the World Series. You're on record yesterday as saying you don't believe this will be the last game. You think it's going 7.
Yeah, and the reason for that is really simple. Starting pitching, Snell's pitching, and Snell's been really good. I saw I don't know if you saw the ratings for the World Series. I mean, they are way down.
Yeah,
there are like 7.5 million people. Only 7.5 million people watched that game Sunday night. That shocked me. That absolutely shocked me.
Well, if you ask the millennials or, the 30-somethings or the 20-somethings about baseball, they like going to games because they like the socialization of the tiki bar and the left field bleachers in a minor league game or something. They enjoy that aspect, but they just do not enjoy sitting for 3.5, 4 hours watching a game that, even though they've tried to speed things up by saying you got to face 3 batters before you can change pitchers and everything, it's still a long, drawn out, at times paint drying, boring game.
Yeah, I mean the game Sunday was 4.5 hours. The game doesn't start till 7. I don't know why they couldn't start that early. That pregame was like 45 minutes long, and it was terrible. And I'm just baseball's got to figure this out because it's just too long. Pitch clock, fine. I think they're going to need to look at everything because it's just too long.
Well,
and it was never this long when you and I were growing up.
Greg Maddux.
Be very clear about that.
I went to an Atlanta Braves game that Greg Maddux pitched a complete game, 9 innings, and this was Greg Maddux, 25 years ago? He pitched a complete game, 9 innings, complete game in 2 hours and 4 minutes. It can be done. And I go to minor league baseball a lot. And, people say the pitch clock, it's amazing how much the pitch clock helps in minor league baseball. Minor league baseball games are 2.5, 245, never more than 2 hours and 45 minutes at all. And that pitch clock, that 20-second pitch clock, They adhere to it, and the batters, got to get a foot, keep a foot in the batter's box. People don't realize how much time it takes to step out of the batter's box, shift the Velcro on one batting glove, shift the Velcro on another batting glove, tighten your helmet back down, then step back in, get your stance, get your feet comfortable and everything. We're 15 seconds in. That happens. Every batter does that every pitch in the in Major League Baseball. So the average, even if you get him, let's say you go to a full count, he fouls 2 pitches off, and then he puts the ball in play. So we're looking at 7 pitches, and with 15 seconds in between each pitch, you're looking at each at bat for a person on average lasting 2.5 to 3 minutes. You have 27 of the. You have 27 of those for each team, lasting 2 to 3 minutes. That's a long time. And that's just a down.
And I think that's No, but you're exactly right, and this is the problem. I believe in extending a pitcher's pitch count. I believe that's a strategy of the game. But what isn't the strategy of the game is exactly what you said. This getting in and out and in and out, and the pitcher's taking, reading the signs for 35 seconds in between pitches. It just gets old, and it's there's no runners on base, and they're taking 35 seconds to throw a pitch. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
It is a game, and by the way, let me go on record as saying it is my favorite sport. I was better at football, so that's why I played football longer. But my favorite sport, because of the science of it, is still baseball. And somebody goes, the science, Tom. Do you know how many geometry things and how many physics things needs to come together for a cylinder, which is what a bat is, to hit an orb, which is what a baseball is? Two rounded objects, because the cylinder, the round of the bat, the round of the ball, that have to meet square. So 2 round objects have to meet square. It's kind of the old putting a square in a round hole or a round hole in a square peg. It's kind of that in baseball. Both of those rounded objects need to be hit squarely at one time for something to happen. And for me, the physics of it, somebody goes, well, golf's harder. No, the ball's stationary in golf. It's not moving. So baseball to me is a hard game, but it's not a 4-hour game.
Well, and again, it's both my kids, I tried really hard to keep them in baseball. I think my oldest son could have been a pretty good pitcher. I think he could have been a college-level pitcher if he stuck with it, but he didn't. And that's okay because he just got bored with it. And, again, the pace of play has got to change. And what's also crazy is the level of instruction, it seems like for every other sport, has increased exponentially. Now with baseball, it's nearly impossible to get good coaching and competitive play without being on a travel team at a very young age. At that 8 or 9 year age, once your child shows any talent, you almost have to throw them on a travel team. And I find that incredible when every other sport, it's getting better and better and better. And baseball, it's just worse and worse and worse.
We're talking with Galen Udall of Life South. Galen, we're going to take some time out real quick to pay some bills for my good friends from Penn Flooring and Palm Garden. We'll be right back after this short timeout.
JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
People ask me why I've worked at Palm Garden for so long, and I tell them it's the people. I love to hear the life stories, especially those from the greatest generation. Celebrating life stories is what sets Palm Garden apart, finding out what's important to them. And I love being a resource. Like Macy's Santa, if I can't help, I'll send them to Gimbel's. After all, Palm Garden is located on 34th Street. I'm Jan from Palm Garden. Call me and let's chat. 854-6262.
You just heard from our two companies that support this segment on the radio with Galen. Penn Flooring is family owned and operated, and it's been serving Marion County for over 30 plus years, and we owe every bit of their success to their unrivaled customer service. Penn Flooring is a full service flooring company dedicated to finding the best solution for your flooring needs and having experience in both commercial and residential fields. You can find them at 1201 Southwest 17th Street in Ocala, or call them at 352-351-3420. And also Palm Gardens, our good friends at Palm Garden. We'd like to thank them at Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, located at 2700 Southwest 34th Street. They offer skilled nursing, physical, occupational, and speech therapy. If you have any questions how they're handling the COVID-19, please call them at 352-854-6222. That's Palm Gardens, can be found at 352-854-6262. Back out to the radio, back out to the phone lines. Galen is with us. Galen, just can't say enough about your sponsors for this segment.
No, and again, Jan is somebody that I've been a huge fan of for a very, very long time. She allowed me to go onto a plane and take a flight out over there at the flight school a long time ago. So thank you for that, Jan, and they're tremendous. So tremendous. So 7 million people watched last night. Are you going to be watch Sunday night? Are you going to watch tonight? I'll watch the first few innings, but again, I mean, the game's not going to be over until midnight.
Right, and I go.
They start at 7:30.
I get up at 5:15. I get up at 5:30. I mean, not 5:15. Believe me, I get up at 5:30, 5:45, right around there, to get ready to come into the radio station. There's no way I could watch that game until 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and then get up and come to work. It's an impossibility.
Right, and the way these two teams, let's be clear, especially the Rays. The Rays, if they win the World Series, when this started several years ago with the Red Sox, I love the Red Sox, we all know that. But when they started taking pitches and taking pitches and taking pitches and taking pitches, that became the new motive. Now the new motive is we're trying to get one matchup. We're trying to get a matchup. And they're going to fight to get that matchup. Because they're underpowered compared to the Dodgers. In the game, I just looked up, first pitch is at 8:08. 8:08.
Yeah. And they say because Los
that
Angeles,
game won't be over until 12:30.
They say L.A. that they want to let people in L.A. have a chance to get home because it's in L.A.
But where? They're locked up.
Yeah. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, they're not home. Yeah.
Come on.
You're not home at 5 in the afternoon.
Well, they're already home. They're all on lockdown.
Well, that is a good point. The state's closed, yeah.
Yeah, the people of baseball have been destroying the game for years, and because their inability to adapt. Whereas, and part of the game that I love, science, just like you, is really starting to dominate it. And so every pitch comes from the dugout, which probably comes from some dude with a spreadsheet, and that's also killing the game. But tonight, I'll watch for the first inning, but let's be clear. Tucker Carlson's having the guy who was Hunter Biden's business partner, so I'll probably be watching that. I mean, and then I'll tune back and forth in between commercials.
I had to ask you this before. Are you a early voter? Are you a mail-in ballot voter? Or are you a guy that goes day of election and votes?
I'll probably go and vote today because I'll be in town today. So my plan is to try and go and vote today.
So you'll be doing the early voting now. Which one are you going to?
Yeah.
There's numerous sites.
I'll go to the.
Well, you can go to the Marion County Election Center, Bellevue Public Library, the Deputy Brian Litz Building, the Denellen Public Library, Forest Public Library, Freedom Public Library, the Mulberry Center Liberty Room, the Reddick Community Center in Silver Spring Shores. You got a lot of choices.
Yeah, I'll go to the supervisor of elections. It's the closest for me. But there's voter suppression out there. They're trying to keep the vote down. They don't want people to vote, but there's not in this county. It's like 9 different places to vote early, and you can do mail-in voting if you request.
And are you ready for this little tidbit? SunTran is offering free bus rides on Election Day. They're offering free bus rides for citizens to vote on Election Day. It'll include 7 regular SunTran routes and not the paratransit. But SunTran's offering free rides on next Tuesday to go vote. It's hard to believe, and I'm happy that it's coming to an end because I'm tired of being inundated with. I don't know how so many political people got my text message number.
Amen, brother.
I just don't understand how that happened, but I'll be glad when those go away. But see, I'm a show up the day of vote. I like to go the day of the first Tuesday in November, the first Tuesday after the first Monday. You got to get that in. It's the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. I like to just go stand in the line and vote that day and know that this is how we've been doing it now for 244 years.
Well, not all of us. You know, we talk about voter suppression, and I'm always offended because, you know, my grandfather wasn't able to vote until he was in his 70s.
Right.
You know, and my mom took him, and she had already had a master's degree from the University of North Carolina.
Yeah, the last minority group, by the way, to receive the right to vote, the American Indian.
That's right. And my mom was told she failed the literacy test. And, of course, she had a master's degree from the University of North Carolina in English. And she goes, no, that is correct. I want to talk to your supervisor. And that's what it took for her to be able to vote. And at the same time, her father voted with her. And this was in 1967. So, you know, it's not that long ago. I wasn't born, but that's where we're. And now when I hear things like people saying, "Oh, they're suppressing the vote," okay, show me some proof, and then I'll believe it. But long lines are not a suppression of the vote.
No. And people say, you know, I don't want to stand in line for 4 hours, and they do that on purpose so people like me won't go vote. No, they do that because there's 370 million people in this country.
Correct. Yeah, and let's be clear, you could have voted early.
You could have.
You could have voted 3 weeks ago. So.
And by the way, this is going to be one of the largest voter turnouts in the history of voting. So if you have the opportunity to go early because you don't like long lines, go early. I mean, I like lines because I'm a Disney guy. I like standing in line for 3 hours to do something that takes a minute and a half, just like voting.
Sure, absolutely. Again, it's go ahead.
How many people do you think just though blindly say, "Well, I'm a Republican, I got to vote Republican everything," or "I'm a Democrat, I got to vote Democrat everything," instead of voting issue by issue, person by person, most qualified, in your opinion, to most qualified? How many people you think throw that out the window and just go, "Oh, I'm Democrat, vote Democrat. I'm a Republican, vote Republican"?
I hope not. You know, and again, I still have to make my mind up on one of the amendments, and the school board. I keep going back and forth. And there are a lot of people talking to me about it, but I'm lost right now for that one.
The school board is one of those unique ones because the seat that's come open, I'm thankful is open. Okay, let me just clear that up right away.
Amen.
And then
yes.
both women are uniquely qualified, but in different aspects. Allison is business-minded and understands budgets and how to, make money and how to save money. And then Miss Conrad, Lori Conrad, is a teacher with 25 years experience and has the experience to know what's needed in classrooms and in schools. So they both bring a unique ability to the situation that makes them both qualified, but you can only vote for one.
Right, and that's what I'm struggling with because I think they're both incredibly. I think either way, I think we're going to be fine. You know, we have two great options here. I just really haven't figured out who I'm going to do it for. And the amendments, my view is I try to look who's for them, who's for the amendments, and who's against them, and then. Because they're so hard to read. The blanket primary is incredibly confusing the way it's written. And at first I think, oh, no, I'm definitely for that. And then I'm like, wait a second.
No, you're not.
Maybe I'm not.
Right.
Well, when you look at who's against it, so the Democratic Party's against it, the Republican Party's against it, the League of Women Voters is against it, the Legislative Black Caucus is against it, and I'm like, wait a second, what? What is this?
Well, here's the reason. Here's the problem with the blanket primaries, is it gives everybody there's no party affiliation, so you can vote for whoever, and then the top two candidates. So in Marion County, let's say Marion County, which is dominated by the Republican Party, okay? That's not a secret. Marion County is dominated by the Republican Party. The Democrats and the Constitutionalists and all will never have a place on the ballot because the top two finishers will almost always be two Republicans.
Yeah,
so,
that's exactly right.
So they lose their chance to vote in the general election for the people they most align with because they're not one of the two finalists. And by the way, in Alachua County, which is mostly Democrat, the same thing would happen to the Republicans and the Constitutionalists there. Most of the time, the final two finalists will be Democrats. So you don't have a Republican or a Constitutionalist or a Libertarian to vote for there. That's a problem for me.
Yeah, and I agree. But again, when you first read it, it's like, okay, I understand this. And then you have to dive a little deeper. And this is how they pass things like, do you remember the school where they wanted to put a limit on the number of students in each classroom?
25 kids in each classroom.
Yeah, and then they, the governor's like, I can't afford to do this. And thankfully, they had the Congress actually had to do their job and pass it and say this isn't never going to happen.
Well,
again, I think go ahead.
That's the problem with these amendments, is that most of it could be handled with the legislative branch doing their job, but they just pass the buck and say, we'll let the voters figure it out. That's not what they're elected for. They're elected to do a job, and most of these amendments are there because they're not willing to do their job.
Yeah, I will tell you there's some that are a no-brainer for me. Number 5 and number 6 are just absolute yeses for me. We're going to take care of 1.5 million veterans, and then the property tax, I'm for. So,
how about the 1 cent sales tax? Are you okay with the 1 cent sales tax?
I don't like it.
30% of it's paid by people that don't live here.
Well, and hear me out on this, because my wife and I had this discussion, believe it or not. The reason I don't like it is because it's not earmarked for anything specific. It just goes straight into the coffers. And taxes like this, they're never coming off the books. So if it was for a specific item or a specific even a specific silo of money, I would be okay with it. For example, if it was going to our schools, or if it was going to whatever they wanted to be specifically going for, I'd be for it. But the fact that it's just going into the government coffers, I don't like it.
326 between the interstate and 27 is great because of the tax, and 475B between 475A and 475.
Agreed. No, you're right about that, but that's not, this money isn't earmarked for anything.
No, it's not earmarked for anything. Hey, speaking of earmarked, tell us where the Bloodmobile is earmarked to be today.
Let's get into this tomorrow. I really do. I really want to get into
We
these
will.
units. I think they're incredibly important. All right. Hey, today, the Bloodmobile, and I'm sure you'll do it the rest of your show, too, so I'll listen. But, hey, the Bloodmobile today, we're going to be out at the Villages Walmart right there on Woodwood Road, or Wedgwood Road, I'm sorry. So come by and see us, and, of course, donate right there on the Donor Center at the Boulevard, 1607 East Silver Springs Boulevard. Please, just give the gift of life, donate blood.
And I know you're not watching very much baseball because you're going to be watching Tucker Carlson. I know that.
Man, that's going to be great. Come on.
It really will be.
Come on. That's going to be great.
Galen Unall from Life South, brought to you by Penn Flooring and Palm Gardens Health and Rehabilitation Centers. Galen, talk to you tomorrow.
All right, be good. Thanks, y'all.
We'll be right back after this timeout. 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pride.
Justice Amy Coney Barrett is the 115th justice to serve the Supreme Court since day one of the American